and welcome back to the Lords of Loud. We're just four music fans living in Australia who love a bit of a debate about music. We thought we'd move our email discussions and rants into the podcast era. I'm Lord Ben, King of the Lords, and Beatles tragic prog rock fan, and I'm your host. And as always, I have with me Brett, Lord Brett, who has the perfect hair for any podcast. I have with me Lord Al. He's a living anachronism, a man who loves Seal and Slayer.
That's the both of them.
And of course, we have Lord Kev, and it's not really his accent that makes him hard to understand.
Another episode. What are we in? About, God knows.
7, 8, 15.
This is our 140th episode of Lords of Loud.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks for sticking with us.
My mum, she's sticking with us.
The 3 people who are listening.
That's right.
Very good.
Please send
All
money.
right. So this episode, we're talking about guilty pleasures. So who would like to kick us off with a guilty pleasure? I mean, it's hard to... The thing with the guilty pleasures is it's like, you mightn't think it's a guilty pleasure, but as soon as you mention it to someone, it's like, oh my God, you're like, what?
Yeah. It's really when someone's going through your music collection.
Yeah.
And they go, oh.
Well, can I start off with not saying my guilty pleasure, but I found some bands today when I was doing some research that I wish were my guilty pleasure, but I've never heard of them before. First band released an album in 1977, and their name is Throbbing Gristle.
Oh,
Hey?
wow.
Imagine that. Imagine
You know what's scary? I've
that was
actually
a guilty
heard
pleasure.
of Throbbing Gristle.
You know? Oh. Awesome. I know nothing about them
That's
other than they
horrific.
released a band in 1977.
Yeah.
My other band that I wished was a guilty pleasure is a band, it's a Melbourne band, and they're called Tropical Fuckstorm.
Wow.
And they've released an album called A Laughing Death in Meat Space. A Laughing Death in Meat Space. If only...
Meat space.
In Meat Space. If
Wow.
only that was my guilty pleasure, I would just be so happy.
Fantastic. All right.
So
Maybe
my real guilty pleasure is George Michael.
Okay.
As an artist or...
Tell us about it. Right? Tell us about it.
It's a bit hard going these days.
Talk us through it.
Talk about it. There are one album in particular, Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1. I just think he's a great musician. He writes all his stuff. Maybe I should have added him into the underrated or whatever. But yeah, I just think that album's brilliant. And it's one of those ones where if someone says, "What are you listening to?" I think twice before I say,
George
"Yeah,
Michael.
listen to George Michael,"
Yeah.
because people go, "Oh, we listen to Faith," or when.
I guess, I was going to say, is that because of, more recent, obviously he's dead now, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but is that because of more recent sort of, sexual allegations in toilet blocks, or is it more about the Wham side
It's
of
more
it?
about the crass pop stuff that he would have done.
Yeah, okay.
I think,
Because he is
the whole
very
faith
musician.
thing probably sealed the deal for a lot of people. It's just like Wham, and then faith is like, okay, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
And not realising that.
I mean, fluoro, micro shorts, with
That's it.
matching gloves. I mean,
You say it like it's a bad
fingerless
thing.
gloves. Yeah, I know it's in your wardrobe now.
Yeah, that's right.
In fact, you're wearing it right now.
Well, the fingerless gloves are practical. Yeah.
I love that Choose Live shirt you're wearing.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's it. It's that sort of stuff. Yeah, mate. I wasn't. I mean, I knew that music, it was fun, whatever, but I dismissed it. And then, in hanging around in record stores years later when this other song came out, and you just hear these songs and they just, and again, maybe it's the fact that it wasn't his critically acclaimed, it was more critically acclaimed but less popular stuff, but I just loved it.
I'll say I loved Jesus to a Child.
Yes.
That song of his, but I didn't really get his solo stuff. I love Wham. But I love, like say, a couple of particular songs of his, but I just didn't get him as a solo, honestly.
I got him so much more as a solo artist than I did when he was in Wham.
Yeah, which is isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Cowboys and Angels, and that's
that's
beautiful, heartfelt songs. So there you go. I've just outed myself.
But given the number of times that I've said George Michael to people and they've laughed, I have to agree.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It's a guilty. I don't feel guilty. I feel sorry for them.
You just feel pleasure.
I just feel pleasure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you feel guilty about it? No.
See, I'm interested in this concept as a psychological, construct, because what you're really talking about here is your perception of yourself in a culture, and the reaction that you're gonna receive when you say this is what I've been listening to just now.
Yeah.
And it's based on who you are. It's very much about your own identity and the context of people you're talking to and all that, you know. So it's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Like, do I feel guilty about any music I like? No. Do I feel a bit, you know, is there certain social groups where I might not say...
Yeah, would I feel awkward?
On?
It's probably more like, you know...
Yeah.
Bands that I like that will make me feel awkward in certain company.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with most stuff that I listen to. You know, we're talking to you guys, I'll back it up, blah, blah, blah. You know, but if I pick up a couple of guys to go to football, am I thinking twice about what I've got in, you know, in the stereo? Like, yeah, definitely, yeah. And that doesn't make it guilty. It's more just a social awkwardness thing, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't
But
want to what does this shit? And it's like, oh, sorry, I love Queen. You know, like, that's going to happen, you know, to your average music fan. Like,
yeah. So do you have a band in particular you can name, or are you just thinking generally?
Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
I mean,
it always comes back to Gary Glitter.
That is
It's either that or that neo-Nazi stuff he listens to. I can't cop that.
Or the Rolf Harris records. You've got to put those. And those Bill Cosby comedy records now.
You know,
No. If I remember, your wife's big into Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
Has that rubbed off? Are you a big Dolly Parton fan?
Has that
There's nothing guilty in that pleasure. There's nothing guilty in that pleasure.
Yeah, this is it. That's right, Ben. That's what I'm getting at. It's like
actually colours. There's
enjoy
nothing
it.
guilty in that pleasure.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
Jolene?
No, I can't say I'll stick on a Dolly Parton album. No, I can't say I will.
No, but I will.
No.
And that's the thing. Like
No, you're an interesting case of point because you've got no filter. I can't wait to hear from you on this.
There's only pleasure.
A man with no shame over here.
Only pleasure.
There's only pleasure. I don't feel guilty about anything I listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. And to a point of way back in the early days of meeting Ben, we stayed over and my wife has an interesting taste in music. Didn't matter what she put on YouTube, Ben loved it. Yeah, and that's you know what a great
Still the deal.
I don't have it. I love music. I don't have a guilty part of it, but for the sake of the conversation, taking myself out of it and looking at it from a broader perspective,
like a normal person.
My biggest guilty pleasure, if you want to call it that, would be
is it the Beatles?
Meatloaf.
Oh, yes.
I love meat.
Yeah.
And what we're really saying is that society at large, your culture, does not love meat.
No.
That's almost
I get
popularity.
I get laughed off. One of the biggest selling albums of all time, Bad Out of Hell.
No.
And people just laugh at me for loving meat. And my love of meat is meat's delivery of the material is the big thing for me.
Yeah.
I think it's a big
You love
thing for
meat
me.
delivery.
Can I just say...
the meat is delivered is
Please
top class.
Can I just say that I made that mistake a long time ago upon meeting Ben to suggest that meatloaf were crap. And I remember there was a little bit of awkwardness at that point. But to be honest, the first girlfriend I had when I left school and was in university, she was a big Meatloaf fan. And, oh, geez, it really made me grit my teeth.
Because obviously, this is foreign territory for me. So I'd love to hear why you feel, out of the three of you, why you feel people don't like Meatloaf.
And maybe, I don't know, is it an Australian thing? And here's your chance to jump in, Kev. Because...
Oh, yeah, that's the immigrant.
That's right. That's right. That's not as a foreigner. Because he is so sincere. And he takes himself seriously.
Or earnest?
No, he's so sincere and takes himself so seriously, and Australians don't really like someone who is so forthright.
Are you thinking theatrical? He's too theatrical, or he's too...
On stage, I reckon he's too theatrical. Like, it's bad theatre, really. I mean, you can have theatrical on stage, maybe go, oh, that's pretty cool. But him, it's just like, Hey, you've
There
got
was like
your
a
hand
Rocky
on it.
Horror thing to him, wasn't there? There was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like you were
yeah.
watching a.
But he came
You were
out of that
watching a
era.
show.
He
It's
came
like
literally
Car
out of the era of the Rocky Horror Show's
Yeah.
popularity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
He came
reminds
out of that era.
Wasn't Bat of Hell kind of a concept album as well? It was
Yeah.
kind of like
Absolutely,
each song's
absolutely.
like. And
And
like, my
let me
experience with this was that I used to go swimming training when I was a wee boy.
Yeah.
And 6 o'clock in the morning, west coast of Scotland, into the car, fucking hell, get the heaters on and off we go. And
Yeah.
sometimes I got a lift from this guy Andrew, and his dad and him loved Meatloaf, and they
Yeah.
loved the album
Legends.
Bat Out of Hell, Legends.
Yeah.
And it took about 20 minutes to drive to the swimming pool. Just enough time to hear the first side
Oh,
Hit
Bat of
the end
Hell.
of the first song. Yeah. Awesome. Love it.
Well, I got a banana. And off we go to swimming training in Largs, where it was about 4 degrees.
Yeah.
And then you'd swim your guts out for 2 hours, about 4k, get back in, head off back home for breakfast in school.
Yeah.
We're like a banana hell.
Continue on. Yeah.
and to this
But can
day,
also- yeah.
you can't
So it's to be
smell
a trauma.
chlorine
Can't-
without
no,
that.
I can't- Meatloaf.
No. What I will say is that I don't hate meat. I don't. I think he is a funny and interesting,
Yeah.
artist in the scope of things. But I can't disassociate Meatloaf from driving
Those
this
times, sure.
Yeah,
And let me
terrible.
put some little bit of context around that. Like, so Meatloaf is the delivery mechanism for Jim Steinman's songs, and Jim Steinman is like one of the most underrated songwriters of all time. All right, amazing songwriter. Meat is his.
How underrated
is his
on a
Celine
scale
Dion,
of 0
right?
to 20?
Meat is his tool.
Meat is his Celine Dion to get his songs out there. Just putting that out there. Anyway,
Or
tell
Jim
me-
Steinman is a meat delivery system.
Anyway,
That's the other way of looking at it.
what other guilty pleasures do people have?
But that's
I'll say
so. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
people have explained to you before why Meatloaf.
no. That's why I'm
Like,
asking you guys.
okay.
Tell me why he's
Oh.
bad. Tell me why it's bad.
Well, I think that was it. I think.
Because
Because he's too sincere.
And
Are you serious?
Well, no, he's
Too
it comes
sincere.
across as
Too sincere.
no. It was more like
It's like Alice Cooper. It's a fun show,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
yeah,
Why is Alice Cooper cool?
But
Meatloaf's
what
not cool?
Alice seems to.
It's the same.
no
thing.
one's saying cool, Ben.
It's the
No
same
one
thing.
is using the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Alice always seems to have
I think hilarious.
his tongue in his cheek. He knows that it's all a show and whatever.
Meatloaf does too. Of course he does.
Well, I know he
Honestly-
does, but I think
Doesn't come
like seeing it, and I mean, I can only go by the film clips that I've seen,
Yeah.
and it would be like Bat Out of Hell and all the other awful ones. Because it's like watching a pantomime show. It's like behind you, meat behind you.
Sure.
Oh,
But that's the prop. That's the prop rock thing. But that's the Rocky Horror. That's that sort of theatrical delivery.
I know.
But
But it's
we
just-
talked about Queen before. That was their thing. They're very much in that
Oh, yeah,
style
yeah.
of
Oh, yeah.
theatrical sort of.
But you can
delivery.
hear it in every, like even if you don't see it, you can hear it coming through his voice, and it is just very,
So it's too theatrical.
I'm doing a musical, and it's a musical,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah,
Because I
but
mean
it's
that's what
like-
the lyrics are
It's
supposed
pop
to.
musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's
but you're saying it's too theatrical.
it's just too. It just comes across as too much having his hand on it.
Okay.
So
Get your hand off it, mate. That's what I'm saying.
Get your hand off your meat. Yeah.
Plus, there's that terrible thing, that Australian thing of, he's singing some, because the girl who was always with him was, probably back in the day, a looker.
yeah.
And you're sitting there going, no, he's punching him above his weight there.
That's right.
This is,
That's right.
This
So
is.
he
I'm not buying the theatre because,
he didn't have a firm grip on reality.
He's not the prettiest boy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, mate, you're not going in the morning light. You're bringing a bucket of KFC back and seeing if we can just make this thing last.
and I think at some point it's like, do you think he's he can't see himself, and so you go, mate, we all see you for who you are, yet you're trying to play some other character.
Yeah.
I think that for me anyway.
I guess it wasn't believable enough. It's like it wasn't probably so much that he was pretending. It was just that it wasn't convincing in his pretending.
See, I'll say this, and I know this is not meant to be a meat podcast, but I'll say
It's definitely one.
But we can totally turn it into.
yeah, it is a now a meat podcast. But I always give him points for being fully committed to that role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a
He
role.
was with
It's a role.
the sort of siren-esque girl at the side, and you might say blah blah, but he had that confidence on stage just to act the role and just be like, and they would put on this show.
Yeah, it is a role.
Unfortunately, I'd just done 300-meter sets of breaststroke, kick pull,
And you're on your way to school.
and I was just
so-
like, oh god. Yeah, that's my problem with meat, and it's a strange problem. That it's probably not one you've encountered
Sure,
Oh,
no, I haven't.
in a world of problems with meatloaf. Here's a new one for
It's
you.
not, but yeah, it's the first time I've heard that one.
Yep.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Sure. But like, look, yeah, I mean, guilty. I'm trying to think of another particular artist, but
Queen.
I get
See,
caught up in some
not
some pop.
I'm saying
at
you're
times I hear some pop songs at times and I go, wow, that's actually a really good pop song.
One
Okay.
example.
Something like Beyonce's what's that song where it was like
Crazy in Love.
No, not Crazy in Love. It was the one where she's like
Is she just too bootylicious for you?
no, it's I Can Get Another Man in a Minute. It's like that. Yeah, what's it called?
Oh, wait a minute. I know the one you're thinking of.
It's a great song.
It's not Beyonce. It's
No, it is Beyonce.
Don't You Wish Your Girlfriend Was Hot Like Me.
No.
That's a Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah,
Pussycat
that's
Dolls.
Pussycat Dolls. No, that's not me. No.
Is that your guilty pleasure?
No, that's my pleasure.
No, it's the Beyonce one where it's like, I could get another you in a minute type
Yeah,
thing.
right.
I can't think of the name of the actual song.
Keep talking, I'll look it up for you.
She did one with Kanye West called Big Ego, which was about his cock.
Right.
And it's just unashamedly the weakest metaphor the whole way through. I got a big ego.
Yeah.
That
But
was just
I'll hear
hilarious.
like a good Rihanna song or a good like modern pop song, and I'll go, oh, that's actually a really well written song.
But,
You know?
but what's guilty about that? Pop songs are
Well,
designed to be enjoyed.
Sure, but as people who are supposed to, as people who have a good musical taste,
Street cred.
you do sometimes, street cred. You do feel guilty about loving a Ariana Grande song or something
so.
that's very
Like,
popular. Like I love some Ariana Grande songs. I think she's fantastic. But I would say that's a guilty pleasure. Yeah, Irreplaceable, Beyonce. That's the song. That's a fucking good song. If you
But the
listen
thing
to it.
is, see, I don't see it.
She has
well-written
a lot
song.
of good songs.
Yeah, well, she doesn't write them, but sure.
I
She
think
performs.
She writes her songs in the same way as Madonna writes her songs. You know what I mean?
Really?
She's attached to them. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And most pop artists are. You know,
I think if they're a respected pop artist,
because they come out of a machine. It's not like
does make
Madonna sitting down with a guitar and a pen and coming out with True Blue. That's not what happens.
No.
No.
No, I know.
So hang on, Al's got to come in here, was it?
Yes, sorry.
no, it's just that I think if they're a respected pop artist, there should be no reason
That's
to
not
be
guilty. Okay.
Yeah.
Like any good song.
But that's the whole idea, isn't it? That are you a big Air Supply fan?
Okay. No.
I love fucking Air Supply. Let's not start on Air Supply.
Oh,
Let's
sorry,
not get in
Mrs.
there.
Cox. This is taking a turn.
Let's not start on Air Supply.
I love fucking meat. And I love
In which
And Air Supply.
Air Supply.
Don't touch Air Supply or bread. Alright?
Oh, okay.
You love meat and bread.
Yeah, that's right.
I love meat, bread, and Air Supply. That's your essentials for life right there.
Carbs and protein, a bit of air, but oxygen.
I'm going to
And a bit of
shock
it.
you. I don't know who the hell either of those bands are.
Who?
Air Supply or
Air
bread?
Supply? You must know Air Supply.
Yes, Air Supply, yes, bread.
I'm all I love.
Alright, I've heard that song.
I'm so lost
The end.
without you.
Bread, hit me with a bread song.
There is only one, isn't there?
Yeah.
You make it and you take it.
Guitar Man. That's a bread song. Guitar Man.
Jeez, it's funny.
David Gates was the lead singer and songwriter from Bread.
Okay.
Easily.
I'm seeing hair in a beers.
I'm a guitar man.
I had a swimming coach.
It's all about swimming with you, Gav.
Yeah. I'm just going back. I had a swimming coach called Hugh, and he loved Billy Joel, and his reason for living was to convince people that they should love Billy Joe, and he would take people on trips, like swimming trips, and you would arrive at a meet and you would have heard 4 hours of Billy Joe, and he'd be like, what was your favourite song? And I didn't realise at the time that he wasn't taking the piss. He was genuinely
right.
He was very serious about.
I could come with him on that journey.
That was so funny, man. And yeah, another swimming thing, but
You could have had him for harassment.
100%. God.
There's laws against that in this country.
I liked it when you changed the tapes over.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
You got
Well, mine, like an example was...
he's got the list out.
Oh, God.
That was Toxic by Britney Spears.
Yeah. Oh,
So, like, it's a great
yeah.
pop song, but now, I mean, and especially when she went through her trashy period.
Which I know affected you.
Which
right.
affected me.
Deeply.
Little
The actually really started with her first single. Wow.
I mean, when she had a really trashy period.
But like Christina Aguilera, Dirty. I mean, holy shit, that's great stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just like, well, that feels... It probably looks odd to other people. Well, for me, I'd go, it's just a great pop song.
Yeah.
I know what's not to like about the film clip. But it's just like, especially during her extra trashy period, it would probably look more than a little strange for someone of my advanced years.
For a 65-year-old to be listening to Toxic.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
Nude.
Yeah, which
With a
is
sock.
part of that guilty pleasure thing. Yeah, it's like
You've nuded up.
Really taking the guilty pleasure.
So,
Sorry, let me
That's it.
more on
So
that.
This isn't just a euphemism, is it? We're just...
but that's the problem. There's a point where it becomes a guilty
Oh, I'm
pleasure
so guilty.
because of your age.
right.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I think I worked out
I think that's
just before
right,
she
Ben.
would have been...
Again, that's a societal thing, and it's kind of
20.
like
Yeah.
it's interesting we've mentioned a few female artists in this.
Yeah, but I think if my dad all of a sudden said, "Oh, I love that new Ariana Grande song," or whatever,
Yeah,
I'd be like,
yeah.
"Oh man, Dad," like it'd
Well,
be
it's
like,
probably not the song so much as I love that film clip type of thing you'd be going, which is worse,
Well, I'm gonna stick
because
to
it's
the
just like,
song.
well, are you...
I'm still going to stick to
As straight men, are we able to divorce, the visual, the beautiful pop star from the song all the time? It's maybe
Yeah.
not that hard to unpack. Not that
Oh, no, like I would,
Maybe, yeah.
I would love that. I would love Toxic, as long as it was performed well by any other artist. I think originally it was presented to Kylie Minogue as an option, and she knocked it back. Yeah.
Okay.
And so if Kylie had done it, it probably would have sounded just as
a budgie and a
smuggle a few. Yeah, it would have probably turned out much the same, and I still would have enjoyed it.
You really?
Yeah. Okay, so here's another one. Annie's Song by John Denver.
Ah.
Oh,
Give me one.
John Denver.
Did you say any
It's not
song
a
or
Annie's song.
What is it? What's the song? What's the line?
Beautiful song. Beautiful song.
You fill up my senses.
You feel
Yeah. But that's not a guilty pleasure. John Denver.
No, that is a guilty pleasure. Honestly,
Well, that's the thing. So,
John
yeah.
Denver is not a guilty pleasure. I'm sorry.
So sorry. What's
John
right.
Denver's a legend.
you're walking down the street and
a
you just singing to yourself. You fill up my like. Isn't there a part of you that's looking behind your shoulder going?
There's no guilt. There's no guilt.
Grandma's fed the bed?
There's
Yeah.
no guilt from me.
yeah, like
else?
other John Denver.
What else is on that little?
Okay, Bright Eyes.
Oh,
Garfunkel.
Garfunkel. Wash
Yeah.
it down.
It's not. That's the thing. I don't think it's so much.
one of my
guilty pleasure,
favourite
but-
songs.
No filter over here.
It's one of my favourite songs.
Nothing.
Brings me to tears every
What else you
time.
got? What else you got?
And can I just say, it's a song that I used to sing to my kids when they were like
used to sing
babes in arms.
Sing a song about death to your kids.
Yep.
Dead
Babes in
rabbits.
arms.
You get out the little rabbit puppets as well.
to get them
Worship
to
down.
go back to sleep.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely song, and
Gorgeous song.
a lot of things by Hall and Oates.
Lovely
And
ones.
Hall and Oates, that's the thing. They went through a period. I can't remember. It was
How
some
are guilty pleasures?
so some English comics used to take the piss out of them. I can't remember who it was, but they'd put
Pale
them.
Pace, probably.
Yeah, probably. Put the mustache on, whatever. And every episode had something about Hall and Oates, but they just wrote great
They're
songs.
great.
Yeah.
Blue Eyed Soul. That's great stuff.
I can't go with that. Okay. What? I like that song.
One of my guilty pleasures is this band called The Fall.
Yeah.
Not
Don't
many people like
tell
them.
anyone about that.
Nobody's ever heard of them,
No.
but
Don't exist.
we might talk about them later in future episodes.
They would have to be the opposite of a guilty pleasure. That's like, I don't care. I still like them.
What do you call like a? Yeah, I don't know. Is there an opposite? Like for me, Elton John. How is I have to justify Elton John? Like, how is that a guilty pleasure? Like one of the greatest artists of all time. I have to justify that as a guilty pleasure to people.
What's interesting? Sorry, Al. But it's possibly that uncoolness, the idea that it's mainstream. Like,
that's right.
It's almost become,
Which is when you turned off Queen, wasn't it? Because it would have been a guilty pleasure to like a band that was now mainstream.
Well, what's funny is that we used to send emails to one another about this, is the genesis of all that, and Alan just pulled up an old email that I sent him, and one of the tracks on there was Flash by Queen.
Yeah, horrific. Yeah.
You know? And like, for me, it's just like a huge memory of like, I loved that movie. I loved going to see it in the cinema and all that. And like, I mean, again, I was 3 or whatever the fuck. But like, I'm sitting there watching it come up, and it's just like, I was into Queen at the time, and it's just like all of these things are coming together, and it is the daggiest film of all time. That movie in itself is a guilty pleasure as well,
absolutely,
because it's just got
and one
so
that most
much
people
kitsch.
wouldn't admit to.
No, there's a huge cult following. Like, people do love it, and they love it because it's so ropey. You know?
So ropey.
Yeah.
Ropey?
Okay, well, the ultimate guilty pleasure is, and I don't know why, but for me, is Phil Collins. I fucking love Phil Collins solo. I love him in Genesis. I love him solo.
But I think with Phil Collins and Elton John, like for me, when I hear you say it, for me, it's a very clear. Like to me, in my head, it's which era are you talking about? Because like Elton John, up until you know.
There's eras.
Well, that's the thing.
You know what I'm not
like,
hearing is any guilt.
That's right. No, there's no.
And that's fine.
There is no guilt.
But maybe that's how it is for some people. Like some people may look at Elton John from, I Want to Kiss the Bride onwards as being the guilty side and the early stuff.
There's some sort of dry periods through the 80s.
And like face value and face value for Phil Collins, like that you'd be going awesome, and then you get some of later stuff you might be going but
studio.
But I think if you're a fan, you go with it and you go, okay, I'm not going to hear his best work, but if there's a couple of songs in this album that I love, great, whatever. But it's not. That's not the point at the moment. Like the moment,
no.
It doesn't matter if you love the whole album or not. It's
the
do you feel guilty buying the latest Phil Collins, or whatever. That's the sort of. That's I guess what we're talking about. But
So can I drag the conversation into the modern period?
Rod Stewart's not recent.
How would you?
Isn't he dead?
Well, how would you feel though? Would there be a guilty pleasure if in this time at the moment when people's discretions in the past now makes them a shunned figure, right?
Ooh.
Your Bill Cosby's.
You're taking a very dark
view
So
of it. Yeah.
exactly. So
right.
how would you go if one of your
your
favourite artists
is now
suddenly gets dragged into court and said 20 years ago they did
Pete
this?
Townsend came very close to it.
Yeah, very close.
And that was very scary for any right-thinking music fan to consider that someone who you laud, And I think his. I don't know much about it. Perhaps I don't want to know much about it. But I think what he said was he was researching things.
Yes, yeah. But you're right, and that's it's a scary time because so far, and what's really crazy is how come it hasn't happened yet? Because you sort of think of what their lifestyles permit them to do. How come this hasn't happened yet? Because for in other genres like film and that, I have I'm fans of people, and you sort of go, oh geez, I don't feel comfortable saying, hey, I really like this guy's films because at the moment there's allegations up against him for not being a nice person.
And it's a broader conversation, and maybe that's another episode about talking about how is it possible, or can you, or should you separate a person's work,
Yeah,
from them as a person, them as a personality, them as a person. Like, is it possible to? Can you? Is it appropriate to?
yeah,
Because you look at great musical figures through the years, and their work is one thing, but then you find out later that they were abusive to their partners, or they were whatever, racist, or whatever they were.
yeah.
Like, can you or should you separate the person from their actual art?
Yeah.
Well, that's a cheery one.
Sorry for that, but I just.
And so, on that note,
But yeah, that just came to me because again, that's a guilty pleasure when you suddenly go, I don't feel comfortable
that's a real
sharing
guilty pleasure.
sharing my like of this because you're
that's it. If you were to say you still love, Rolf Harris or something,
yeah, Tommy Kangaroo
that's a
Dance.
real
I think
guilty.
that's the saving grace with the very few exceptions I can think of. These are children's entertainers, and it kind of takes it out of the equation as much as it might have a joke or whatever. But it's not like you're going home and sticking on.
That's your Gary Glitter problem.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, well, I did love Gary Glitter when I was a wee boy, but now it's just this horrible flip on, you want to be my guy and all these kind of things. It's like, oh god.
But what about Phil Spector?
Yeah.
Like,
that's right.
hugely important figure
Yeah.
in recording and
But do you that's it. Do you just deny everything he did musically because of what he's just that one instant? Or do you go, okay, how do you balance
You kind
that?
of do have to weigh it up, Ben.
How do you balance
kind
it?
of have to say there's a line, where the human being themselves overrides what they've created. You know what I mean? The acts and
But this
deeds
is
of
it.
someone.
But I think this is
That's
this
for
is
your own
certainly
choice.
something
That's for your own,
we should consider as an episode, because it's an important topic. Like, you look at someone like Lennon, right? Like, I'm going to defend the Beatles till the cows come home, but Lennon was a horrible human being on many levels. Does that discount everything he did with the Beatles? Does it discount all his solo work? Like, does it, what do you do? Like, do you just go, well, I can't listen to the Beatles anymore because Lennon...
A lot of musicians are horrible
cheated on
human
his
beings,
wife and
but
beat his first wife.
Cheating on your wife is one thing. You know what I mean? That happens in your best friend can tell you he's done that. Do you hate your best friend now? Or do you see it as the context of what people do in their lives?
But I guess again the problem is though, at some point, if enough of that gets around, then you might morally go, I'm still happy supporting that artist, but everyone else around you goes, no, I'm not.
you shouldn't be.
And therefore, you're back into the guilty pleasure of, well, I'm going to quietly listen to my, stuff.
I just think that the pleasure would be diminished.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which is not the case with my famous guilty pleasure. And this is a more recent one, which I think is what you were getting at. But there's an artist called Robin, who's an electronic pop rapper / dance performer.
It's not Robin.
Robin with a Y.
Love that.
Problem with the why?
And she did a song called Dancing on My Own, and it makes me weep like a baby. And I've got no idea.
Wow. Okay.
It's just such a great song. Because something about it just like gets me in the feels. And, and I'm proud to say it's not because she's like stunningly attractive. Like, because the temptation is to go, oh, I quite like it when Hazel puts on Katy Perry or whatever, because it's some decent music. Actually, no, there's just a girl in a short dress. You know what I mean? So that's one. The other one is an artist called Grimes, who's like a very like avant-garde and innovative and creative and brilliant artist, but she sounds like a pop princess. That's the kind of area that she's messing about with. And at first listen, and this is the album I wouldn't put on with the boys in the car. I would definitely, if you guys were like driving along going, you've got to hear this, it's just like a kind of a weird thing for me to like. What do you reckon? You'd be going, I don't know, Kev, because it takes a few listens, but over time it's just become like, this is just phenomenal. Just the musicianship and the talent that she's got, and she does everything herself. I mean, everything. She's her own producer included. And then I find out she's going out with Elon Musk.
Wow.
And then it becomes like a special level of guilty pleasure. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, I've gone all this way for you. You know, I've had my wife saying, really, you like this? And I'm like, yeah, it's really good.
You're
you know,
a
you
seller.
and I've persuaded, you know, and the kids all love it. We all sing in the car, right? I'm like, yeah, that's all great. You know,
Now it's time to drop her.
yeah, weird series of events. But Grimes, yeah, definitely. The first single that she put out was just stunning, and Robin was the same. But even folk that I like listen to like music with back home and sort of, you know, it's all trendy and cool. That's when it comes like that becomes challenging for me because it's like, oh, this is pretty mainstream sounding. You know what I mean? It's like,
Sure.
yeah, I quite like this genuinely, you know, poppy sounding thing.
Yeah.
But it's I'm not, you know, it's not the only thing that I've liked that, you know, like definitely grew up with the Simple Mindsies and the Big Countries and the Ultravoxes and all that, you know. So yeah,
There's no shame in that.
no, there really isn't actually, and I've come to peace with it. I've started to listen to that a lot more. Right.
All right. Well, we'll definitely again revisit this topic. This is not the first or last Guilty Pleasures we'll do. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Lords of Loud.